What's going on, everybody? Corey here for another Coffee and Magic. I've got my coffee, got some magic right here, and just ready to chit-chat a little bit. I just woke up from a nap. I've been up all night. I didn't sleep very well, so here I am. And, just uploaded a new video. It is my deck review of these guys here, the Pharaohs from Organic Playing Card Company and Riffle Shuffle. So yeah, check those out, and see what's. Check that video out and see if you like them or not. They are sold out. I went on their website this morning to check for some images so I could use them in the thumbnail, and yeah, so they are already sold out, but it is what it is. Anyways, so in last week's video, I went on a little bit of a rant. Nothing too tough, but really about Lux. And it wasn't anything about the product itself. It was more just about all the hype that was surrounding it. The build-up for something that ended up being, for me personally, just really a big letdown. And I was thinking throughout the week, some things that I didn't talk about for it, about it. And it dawned on me earlier in the week, well, later in the week, I should say, probably about Wednesday, that I used to do Ashes on Arm for the reveal of like a playing card with UV ink years and years ago. So I broke out my old close-up case. This case has not been used since like 2009. So this is the case. You can see it's all beat to hell. It's got stains on and everything else, but I'm pretty sure, I haven't opened this. I actually just pulled this out of the closet. I'm pretty sure this has my UV pen and my light, UV light that I used to use for that. So, there's so many people saying, oh, this is, how revolutionary Lux is. And it's not. The torch, there's some upgrades made to the torch. I'll give it that. It's a Lloyd has exposed it. All the work is done in the torch. So there's a bunch of different functions for it to do things. It's the functions that are in there are not outside the possibility of other people doing. You just have to know what you're doing. But with all the kits out there, and you can program yourself, the functionality is something you can definitely build yourself. But anyone watching the video should know that it's the torch that's doing all the work. But let's see. Yeah, I think this is the UV pen. This probably is even dried up. So here's the UV pen that I used to use. I wonder if this still even works. That's gotta be dried. Well, I'll just do... Oh, no, it feels like it's wet, actually. And I think this is the torch. Yeah, this is the torch, so it might not still work. But that's the torch that I used to have. Yeah, the torch is about dead. But you can see the X I just put on my hand. So, now this isn't Lux. I want to first, before anyone's like, oh, well, Lux, that sucks. This isn't Lux. This is an old... If I were to replace that battery, that'd probably get a lot brighter. Because I remember it being a lot brighter than this. Also, it's very bright in my room, so it doesn't help. So, I do know that Lux is a more powerful UV light, which this again, I think if I replace the batteries, the batteries in here are over 10 years old. But this is what I used to carry. This was part of my close-up. I would write the name of a card and at some point force it and do that. I could write a date down, and if I could get someone into getting that date, I could reveal it on my arm. So the whole idea of things with Lux isn't new. It's old magic taken into kicking off a newer kind of feel, but it's stuff that, at least here in Kansas City, this is stuff we've been playing around with since like 2007, 2008. At least for me, it's been like that. This is part of my close-up act. This is what, and my walk-around stuff. So I've been doing, like, I completely forgot that I used to do this stuff too. It was while I was just sitting there taking like I went after Lux a little too aggressively, but it was the hype that got me. And I'm like, wait, I used to do UV ink revelations. So I was pretty sure it was in this case. My case of weird crap. Oh, this is something I should actually give away. This is a good trick. I forgot that I used to do this too. So that might be for an upcoming video. Teaser. Maybe I'll teach something. It's an animate effect that I've taken to having on a deck of cards. I think all the rest of the stuff is I think that's just a regular deck of tally hos. Boy, it's fun going through your old magic stuff. I think this might be... No, this can't be anything special. I think this is just a... Oh, this is probably... No, that's somewhere else. Yeah, this is just a deck of bikes. Again, how old this case is, you don't see tuck boxes with that, bicycle tuck boxes with that back design anymore. Blue label, full playing card back. This one must be something. This is probably a Brainwave deck. Yeah, I've always hated the Brainwave. Always carried it, but I never used it. There's some gems in here. So by Adam Grace, stained glass, where you get a little piece of glass to do with. Got a pocket Erdnase. I've got some of my own stuff in here. I've got an empty bottle of steroids I probably had an idea for. An old pin through bill. This was like the medium. They always had three versions. They had the one that looked like a really cheap Bic pen, or not even a Bic pen. And then they had this one, which was a little bit more high class. And then the executive one, which was a really nice one, which I actually have back there that I just got recently. I've got Michael Amar wax. Let's see. Oh, I've got my build tube in here. So I've always been a fan of the build tube. I think it's an underrated effect. One of those great impossible location effects. And I know people like say, oh, but people like this, that wouldn't play today. It still plays today. I do nested boxes quite frequently. It's still, like, that stuff still plays. And here's Perfect Prediction Deck from Wild Magic. So yeah, this is when Tom Jones and Rachel Wild were together. I think I bought a few things. I don't even know what this trick is. I don't know if I don't remember ever doing this. I think I just always just carried it with my close-up stuff. With the idea is like, oh, if I have to learn something new, I've got something new in there. And then I had these all made. This is one of the first things that I ever put out and marketed. Because it was back when Livestrong bracelets were really big. And of course, what close-up case is anything without a stick of repositionable glue stick. This is my magic one. This is ever since I actually have another thing of it on my desk back over here. So while everyone was using repositionable spray, I think it was my buddy, I want to say it was my buddy Jason Dean, had either stumbled across this or learned about this from one of his friends. Probably, couldn't even tell you who told him about this if he didn't discover it on his own. But we all started our little group. All we would use is the stick, because it lended itself to so many applications. Like, it lended itself to, you could borrow a deck and just rub some on a card real quick discreetly out of the way, and gas on it instead of having a can of repositionable glue spray. There's so much you could do with it. So I always kept the Elmer's version, which the lid's probably glued on at this point, in my bag, or in my case. These are cards for an effect that I marketed that's coming back out based off of a trick out of the Jinx. So those are my personal ones. And what's funny is I'm still using the original one that I ever used. Because of how the card is used, it just doesn't get damaged. So you don't go through a lot of them. And then, what else do I have here? I've got a playing card. Oh, just a double backer. I've got a Sharpie. Got a dry erase marker in here that's probably dry. I've got, I think, oh, well, I don't know what that is. Oh, my lecture notes, or my notes with really bad tricks in it, probably. Wow. Yeah, such bad. Like, I was trying to just create a bunch of stuff. And I have stole Keto, because I was great at naming things, which was an Okito Box Routine. It was really basic, but you would place the coin, like the Okito box would never leave the table. I don't even know if I could still do this. The Okito box would never leave the table. You'd put the 4 coins in, cover it with a lid, and you can snap your fingers, and then they could uncover the Okito box and dump the coins out, and there'd be 3 coins instead of 4, which they saw the 4 coins go in. And then you were able to reproduce the coins from like a little pouch or a bag. And if I remember correctly, all the coins could be signed or initialed or something by the spectator. So it was the same coins that went in that appeared in the bag. So there was no like dupes or anything. And you could do them like one at a time, and like even do call outs if I remember correctly. I don't think I could do that anymore. My color changing pack of gum is in here, which I first published in Linking Ring, in the Linking Ring, which is the IBM's monthly Magic magazine. That might be the first thing that I ever had published that went like worldwide. It was for the Ring 129 parade. So our local ring had a parade issue, which basically is just everyone in the ring submitted a trick and it got published in the Linking Ring. I don't remember if there was a lot of scrutiny over the tricks, but it's actually a really good trick. And there's been so many gum tricks that have come out recently that they don't give me any credit for. That actually is one of the things that really kind of irritate me. Because it's just like they might not know that I exist, but there should be someone on their team that's doing a little bit of research. Something's come out from Vanishing Ink, and I'm really shocked that Andy and Josh don't have any knowledge of the trick. And but whatever. I'm not bitter, I swear. let's see, what else did I have in here? Sandwich surprise, which is a sandwich trick. I don't even remember this. Spectators asked to select a card after they memorize it. That was my writing skills. After they memorize it, they replace the card anywhere in the deck. The magician then tells them that they, the spectator, need to try to stop the riffle at their card. When this is done, the magician finishes the cut of the deck and shows the card stopped at not being the selection. The bottom card is also not their selection. The magician explains that he has helpers in the deck, and that when the cards are spread, they spread face up, or when the deck is spread face down to show two face-up jokers with one card in between them. Basic sandwich effect. I don't remember. Oh, okay, that's right. It was a knacky move, too. I think I showed my friends this, and they liked it, but it was really knacky. Because I wanted to be able to show that card going into the middle of the deck. And I did. This was still at a point where I didn't have a ton of sleight knowledge. I had been doing sleight of hand, so I've been involved in magic for almost my entire life. But the first decent bit of my magic experience and history comes from more props, and gimmicks and gaffs, where they did most of the work for me. I didn't have really any good base knowledge of sleight of hand. I didn't understand it, and I didn't have any mentors when I was younger, so I just did kind of like prop magic when I was younger, which I wish wasn't the case. But I did shows with all that prop magic, so I was like a stage magician or a kids performer, where they mostly do, I knew a couple seals, but nothing extravagant. So I came up with this crazy way, which probably wasn't if I were to go back and do some searching, it probably wasn't my original idea either, but I came up with this crazy way to have a card freely selected, signed, put fairly in the middle of the deck, and then be able to get it between two jokers. And it was knacky and stupid, and I should practice this again to see if I can do it. Another sandwich effect, sandwich squared. Card is freely selected from the deck and can be signed. The card is replaced in the deck and lost. The magician grabs two jokers that were set aside earlier and puts them face up on top of the deck. One on top, one on bottom. And then with just a toss to the other hand, the magician is left with two face-up jokers and a selected card between them. This is definitely not mine. Again, I started writing this when I knew this was one of those that I barely knew anything, and this was just a simple control. And then that whole, if you know the trick where you have you place a black 6 and a black 9 on in the middle of the deck, and then you throw the deck, and then you've got the black 6 and black 9 in your hand. It's basically that, only with the jokers and stealing a card. I know this is someone else's published somewhere. I don't know whose, but I know I've seen this somewhere else before. Oh, Not So Raven. So I hated the Raven device. Hated it. And I came up with my own way of making it. Well, I mean, anyone can make a Raven, but my own way of making a Raven that was discreet, out of the way, where you could do vanishes and appearances. And it would just blend in with your everyday clothes. No one would ever question it, anything like that. This one was a fun, stupid one. I might actually share this on my Facebook group. It was like, hey, Here's a stupid idea that I had when I was younger in Magic. What's some of your embarrassing stuff? Mentally lost. There's some weird writing on the bottom. Let's see. Card is chosen from a deck of cards. It is remembered and replaced back. Duh. The cards are shuffled, and spectators asked to name a number between 5 and 15. That number of cards is dealt down, then turned face up. The magician then asks the spectator to concentrate on their card. The packet is narrowed down to just 2 cards. Cards are mixed face up, face down. At one point, the last card is their selection. Oh yeah, I do remember this. I was going to say I don't remember this one, but I do because it's a key card principle, but you shuffle it with the key card. So they never, like, the key card is never isn't right next to their selection. It's kind of a floating key card in a way. This was actually a really good trick. Yeah, this is actually a really good trick. It might not hold up today, but it's a fun little, like, quick, like, hey, I can do this real quick and do this. Impossible Vanish reversed card. Oh, I started getting fancier here. Items needed. 1 deck of cards. Various other close-up items. Sharpie not required. You have a card selected, or use the previous card. You play selection face up on a face-down deck. You cover the card briefly, remove your hand. The card has vanished. You spread through the entire deck to show the card has completely disappeared. Put the deck back in the box and have the spectator write the name of the selection on the card box. Tell them to put the deck away for a time being, and you'll get back to it. Do some different tricks. And when you're about done, ask the spectator to remove the deck from their pocket and from the case. Ask them to read out loud the name that they wrote on the case. Then ask them to spread through the cards and find their selected reverse card in the deck that they had in their pocket the whole time. If you can afford them, let them keep the deck. Wow. So I had a one of the I'm naming the effect that I'm re-releasing. I'm using a different name, but I'm crediting the original trick on the cover, and I call it False Recollections. And that's one of my big things when doing magic is creating that false recollection. So if you're doing a great example of this is doing there's a trick by John Bannon called Dead Reckoning. And you do that trick, and a lot of times, people, oh, can you do it again? So if you go based off of that trick, and then you go into something similar, like the Rendezvous Force by Vernon, they feel and look very similar, but they create a false recollection in the I was going to say customer in the spectator's mind. So they're going to remember pieces from the first trick for the second trick, and the second trick for the first trick, and so they're going to say things that don't make, like, when they're retelling it, they're going to be like, it's like, oh, he did this, and I just thought of this, and he pulled out a prediction way before, and like, it's just this whole crazy mess of recollection of the trick. And I've always been really big on how can I get the spectator to not remember certain key elements. That's always fascinated with me, and that all came mostly from a story Michael Lamar tells, where when they go up and say, "Oh, I remember you. You're the guy who just thought of a card, and my card appeared on the ceiling." And you hear him talk about that a lot, and that's basically what this effect was. I think that's what I thought. So, I mean, this trick is an easy thing to figure out. All it is, because I mean, I'm telling you right at the front, like you take their selection, put it on top of the deck, and then it vanishes. And what you're doing with this is you're doing an Erdnage color change, a block pushover, and then just hiding out that card, and then repositioning it where it's in the middle of the deck. So the card is gone. I would even now probably today change it to like showing that it's no longer face up, turning the deck over, showing that the card's no longer there at all. It's not in the box, putting it away. If I were to still do this, and then continue maybe with the rest of it as normal, like, hey, you know, go ahead and put this away. We'll get back to this later, see if we can figure something out. But it was a good trick. I did this in the magic shop when I worked there. This is how I sold magic books. A lot of dealers, a lot of magic shops like to sell you tricks. My goal was to get you to leave with a book. If I get you to leave with a book and a trick, something that you had to work for, and something you could do today, you were more likely to come back and buy more from me. Oh wow, is this the last thing that's in here? Oh, I had melting through. Melting through a card of selection from the deck and replacing a loss. The magician replaces the deck in the box. With a couple waves of the hand, the card materializes on the front of the box. The card is handed out and everything is examined. I remember that. That wasn't a very good trick, but I remember it. It worked. And then I had card to DVD, which I tried to market. I wanted to put a release. And I think I even had a video of me doing it at Walmart. And it was when card through window was a big thing. A lot of people were doing card through glass. Gosh, it's even got my email address on there. But a lot of people were doing card through glass, and I wanted a card through glass effect. Why are you not closing? Oh, jeez, I'm making a mess. Anyways, so I decided to do what's the best thing one of the best things you could do. That's card to glass, but could be impromptu, and would be really impressive. And I came up with a method to have a card selected, signed, and to spring the cards towards a DVD case and it appear underneath the cellophane of a DVD case. And I took it to Penguin, and Penguin, the guy I was working with was a really nice guy, and he liked it, but there was parts to it where he's like, we just can't sell that. Like it's not doesn't really fit for us. I think it's a good idea. I think it needs some more work, and I'm one of those people like I can get a trick so far, but at a certain point, like I need other people's minds in there, and that was one of the reasons I took it. I was like, if I can get Oz or Jay to kind of look at this and kind of like, okay, this is what this is missing. That's what it needs. Like it was practical for me. Like I was able to pull it off and make it work. But how do you get it going? So Sam had declined, like, hey, we're not gonna do it. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And I think I took it to Blacks, and Blacks, James said no. And I think this was before I released Hallucinations through Blacks. But I think James said no. I think it was about the same thing. It's like, this just isn't something that I feel like would work for us. It needs more thought, it needs more work, which I understood. It was a little frustrating as, a younger guy trying to make his name in magic. And then I think I took it. I don't remember if I took it anywhere. I want to say I took it to Hank Lee, and then never heard back from Hank. So it was just something I always played with. I'm like, fine, I'll just put it in a set of notes and just say, hey, here you go. And I thought the method was really good. I thought when I showed it to some of my friends, like I do it at the magic shop, and my friends would come in and I would do it. When they had sealed cases, and the ones I showed it to them seemed to really enjoy it. It was like, oh my god, it was like, how much is that? I'm like, well, it's not marketed, it's mine. So it just never went anywhere. And then I ended up giving up on it. Like I tried and tried and tried to make the method better. And try to fill in those gaps. Everyone said there was something missing with it and it needed streamline. And I just couldn't do it. And without the support of like Penguin and other magic companies to be able to say, hey, we can help you. And it being something I never released. Now, at this point, it'd be kind of dated. You don't buy that kind of stuff. But the method would have worked for jewel cases, for CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays, anything with cellophane. Pretty much, it would have worked for. And it was visual. Like it looked really good because when it was in the cellophane, you could shake it, and you could watch it move. I would say, like you would have to open the case up to get the card out. I think it might have been Blacks that said it would be better if it appeared inside the DVD case, so it just completely vanished. And to me, that defeated the purpose of the card through window kind of effect of it. But that's funny. I didn't remember writing that up and putting it in my notes that I had. But this has been a fun trip down memory lane. We've gone for 30 minutes. We didn't even go over any like new magic that's been put out. So yeah, there's that. But I'm going to call it good there. I want to thank you for watching today or tuning in at a later time. Eric, I know you watch the videos usually later, so I want to thank you for tuning in. And yeah, that's all I got. So I will catch you all on the next go around. Check out the Pharaoh deck. Oh, excuse me, the Pharaoh's deck review. And let me know if I was being too harsh. Also, it's kind of random and blathery like most of my videos, so be prepared. Because that's just what I do. But anyways, I want to thank you for checking me out today, checking this out later, and the rewatch. And we will catch you in the next video upload sometime this week. Peace.